Hey friends, I'm going to be in Genesis 3. I'm just going to read here, starting in verse 1. It says, "The serpent says to the woman, Eve, did God say, you shall not eat from any tree in the garden? And the woman replies, we may eat of the fruit of the trees in the garden. But God said, you shall not eat of the fruit of the tree that's in the middle of the garden, nor shall you touch it, or you will die. But the serpent says to the woman, you will not die, for God knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." As we know, both her and Adam took that fruit that God told them not to eat. But I want us to look at this closely. What is the temptation here? It's not that the fruit itself was that tempting, even though it is called desirable to the eye or something like that. But rather, the temptation was, you will be like God, knowing good and evil. The temptation here is becoming like God, taking that authority upon themselves to decide what's right for them, to decide what's good and what's bad. At the heart of every sin is this same problem. Every time we sin, we repeat the sin of the garden, taking upon ourselves the authority to decide what is right for ourselves, to be the God of our lives. And this is a problem of worship. In John 6, Jesus informs us of what we do about this. Someone in a crowd asks him, what must we do to perform the works of God? In verse 29, Jesus answers and said, this is the work of God, to do what God desires, that you would believe in him whom he has sent. The story of the gospel is God calling us back to trusting him with the authority of our lives, to trust him with our forgiveness, to trust his mercy and his grace, but more than that, to trust him with our lives, with what is good and what is bad, to allow him to define those things. The gospel is this story of us returning to the garden and making a different decision. But the thing about this decision is that it is not just a one-time thing. There is a moment where we come to trust Jesus initially. But Jesus teaches in Luke 9:23, if anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. This decision to put our desires, our authority to death and to give them over to God is a daily decision, to place Jesus on the throne of our lives, to say, I trust you with what my life is about. I trust you to define what is good and what is bad. You are the God of my life. God desires to walk in the garden again with us. And he has given everything. He has given his life as a gift of incredible love for us so that at any moment, every day, we can resubmit and turn back to him. And so I ask, how has your worship been? Is there something in your life that you have not surrendered over to God's trust, to God's authority? How have you given in or been tempted to be the God of your own life? What is that fruit that you keep taking? Wherever you've been this summer in relationship to God, God is giving this invitation to once again come to him, to daily repent and say, God, I give you authority. You are the God of my life. And so I want you to take time today to just think about those things, to say, God, I need to surrender this to you. I trust in you because you are good and you've shown your love for me. I'm going to include a link to a Spotify playlist of worship songs I've been using every day to just worship God, to realign my heart, to make sure that I at least start each day saying, God, you are the authority of my life. And so feel free to use that. There are also songs I'll be adding probably this semester, so you can get a head start on that. But I pray that you guys would be able to realign your worship and find the joy of allowing God to be the authority in your life.